Welcome back to Team Wisp reads Laughing Jack. I'm Tangle the Lemur. I'm Whisper the Wolf. And I'm Jewel the Beetle. Now let's continue where we left off, shall we? Suddenly, I was woken up by a loud bang coming from the kitchen. I sprung out of bed and hurried down the stairs. When I got to the kitchen, I was horrified. Everything on the counters had been thrown on the floor, and our dog, Fido, hung dead from the light fixture. His stomach was cut open and stuffed with candy, the same type that James was eating earlier that day. My shock was quickly broken by a sharp scream coming from James's room, followed by loud crashes. I quickly grabbed a knife from the drawer and moved up the stairs with the speed that only a mother whose child is in danger could have. I burst through the door and flicked on the lights. Everything in the room was knocked over and tossed on the floor. My poor son in his bed, crying and shaking with fear, and full of urine staining in the sheets. I scooped up my child up and ran out of the house and went next door to Tom and Linda's house. Luckily, they were still awake. They let me use their phone, and I called the police. It didn't take them long to arrive, and I explained what had happened. They looked at me as if I was crazy. They searched the house, but all they found was a dead dog and 2 trashed rooms. The officer told me that someone had probably gotten into the house and done this right before making a quick escape. When they heard me coming up the stairs, I knew it wasn't true. All the doors were locked, and none of the windows were open. Whatever was in my house didn't come from outside. The next day, James stayed inside. I didn't want him to leave my sight. I went into the garage and found his old baby monitor and set it up in his room. If anything comes into it tonight, I was going to be able to hear it. I went to the kitchen and grabbed the largest knife from the drawer and put it on my nightstand. Imaginary friend or not, I'm not letting anything hurt my little boy. Soon enough, night came. I put James to bed. He was afraid, but I promised him that I wasn't going to let anything happen to him. I tucked him in, gave him a kiss, and turned on the light. Before closing the door, I whispered to him, "Good night, James. I love you." I tried to stay up as long as I could, but after a few hours, I felt myself drifting off. My baby would still be safe for the night. I needed to sleep. Just as I lay my head on the pillow, I heard a soft noise coming from the baby monitor I had put on my nightstand. At first it sounded like an interference, like the kind of radio would make. Then it turned into a soft moan. Was James asleep? Then I heard it. The laugh from my nightmare. That horrible laugh. I sprung up from the bed and grabbed the knife from under my pillow. I rushed over to James's room and creaked the door open. I tried to turn on the light switch, but it wouldn't come on. I took a step in, and I could feel the warm, thick liquid on my feet. Suddenly, James's nightlight came on, and I could see the absolute horror laid out in front of me. James' body was nailed up on the wall, the nails piercing through his hands and feet. His chest was cut wide open, and his organs hung down from the floor. His eyes and tongue had been removed, along with most of his teeth. I was disgusted. I could hardly believe this was my baby boy. Then I heard it again, the soft, desperate moan. James was still alive? My baby, my poor baby, in so much pain, barely clinging to life. I ran across the room and vomited on the floor. But my sickness was interrupted by a horrible cackle coming from behind me. I spun around while still wiping bile from my mouth. Then out of the shadows emerged the fiend responsible for all this horror. Laughing Jack. His ghost's white skin and matted black hair hung down to his shoulders. He had piercing white eyes surrounded by dark black rings. His twisted smile revealing a row of sharp, jagged teeth, and his skin didn't look like skin at all. It almost looked like rubber or plastic. He wore a patchy black and white clown outfit with striped sleeves and socks. His body itself was grotesque, his long arms hanging down past his waist, and the way he was posed made him look almost boneless, like a rag doll. He let out a sickening laugh, as if to let me know he was pleased with my reaction to his work. He then turned around slowly in front of James and began to laugh even more at the horrific sight he has laid out. That was enough to shake me from my terror. I snapped, "Get away from him, you creep!" I rushed at the monster, raising the knife above my head and stabbed down at him. But as soon as the knife touched him, he disappeared in the cloud of black smoke. The knife passed through and pierced James' still beating heart, splashing the warm blood off on my face. No, what have I done? My baby! I killed my baby! I immediately fell into my knees, and I could hear the sirens in the distance growing louder. My boy, my sweet baby boy. I promised Mommy wouldn't protect you, but I failed. I'm sorry, James. I'm sorry. Police soon arrived to find me in front of my son, still wielding the knife covered in my baby's blood. The trial was short instantly. Insanity. I was placed into Veropolo's house for the criminally insane, where I've been there for the past 2 months. It's not so bad here. The only reason I'm awake now is because someone is playing Pop Goes the Weasel outside my window. I'll talk to the orderlies about it in the morning. And that was Laughing Jack, one of the original creepypastas, and one of the most popular ones too. Our final, what do we think of it? Wow, that was really creepy, in a good way. I almost got goosebumps while reading this. Haven't you, girls? Oh yeah, yes, you better believe it. Wow, the paragraph structuring is really nice. Sentence structuring is really good. Let me tell you that. I also like the fact that Laughing Jack was originally an imaginary friend, but turned out to be a monster in some cases. That almost reminds me of Freddy Krueger. From the Nightmare on Elm Street. Are you talking about the original or the remake? I say both. I actually like the original, but it's whatevs. But other than that, we actually love this creepypasta. Lissett Gonzalez, we want to thank you very, very much for requesting this story to us. Now, what do you all think of this creepypasta? Did you all like it or did you not? Feel free to let us know in the comment section down below. I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of getting tired. Yeah, same here. I don't mind a little bit of beauty sleep. I say we call it a night, shall we, girls? I don't see why not. Okay. But other than this, thank you all very, very much for watching. This is Tangle the Lemur, Whisper the Wolf, and Jewel Beetle, also known as Team Wisp, signing out. See ya. Bye. Don't be a stranger.